A villa on the beach, a heated pool, a yacht with a private bar. We think luxury travel is modern. It isn't. 2,000 years ago, the richest Romans were already doing all of it and spending fortunes that would make a billionaire flinch. Their favorite party town was so sinful a philosopher called it a harbor of vice. Today, it sits at the bottom of the sea. This is how the ancient rich went on holiday, and what it cost them. First, the options. A rich Roman had a whole menu of ways to escape. The staycation. Retreat to your own seaside villa and do nothing, expensively. The resort? Go to Baiae, the ancient party capital, for beaches, all-night boat parties, and affairs you'd deny later. The spa cure. Rome was obsessed with taking the waters, soaking in hot sulfur springs for your health, which doubled as a license to drink for a week. Our Elan Maris Fumas experience has Ultractivic Vegli Training. The cruise. If a villa wasn't enough, you took to the water on a private pleasure ship. And the big adventure. The long haul, sailing to Greece and Egypt to see wonders already 1,000 years old. The original bucket list trip. Same menu as today. Beach, party, spa, boat, faraway trip. Let's price it out. Start with the villa. Summer in Rome was unbearable. Hot, packed, riddled with disease. So the wealthy fled to the coast, to the villa. Not a house. A second home, built only for pleasure. Private baths. Heated pools. Gardens. Sea views from every room. The best ones pumped seawater straight into indoor pools. So what did that cost? Brace yourself. The Senator Cicero bought a grand house on Rome's finest hill from none other than Crassus, the fire sale billionaire. The price? 3.5 million sesterces. In wages, that was what about 2,400 ordinary workers earned in a full year. For one address. Call it tens of millions today. And a beachfront villa was a second fortune on top. And that was normal at the top. To even qualify for the Senate, you had to be worth 1 million sesterces. Over 1,000 years of a soldier's pay just to get in the door. These weren't millionaires. They were the billionaires of their world. The Emperor Hadrian went furthest. His country villa sprawled across nearly 300 acres. Dozens of buildings, private baths, theaters, and a giant statue-lined pool copied from Egypt. A private resort the size of a town. But the ultimate flex wasn't the building. It was the fish. The rich built saltwater fish ponds and treated them like art. One senator reportedly wept when his favorite eel died. Cicero mocked the whole crowd as the tritons of the fish ponds. Too rich, too bored, in tears over a pet that lived in a pond. That's the villa, a private paradise priced like a small kingdom. Back at the resort, the party moved on to the water. And here, the Romans built something that looks shockingly modern. The super yacht. Because a Roman pleasure ship had nearly everything a billionaire's yacht has today. Hot baths and a spa, heated floors, ancient climate control, running water and fountains, banquet halls, the staterooms, open decks and gardens for lounging, even a library and a temple, the ancient cinema and helipad. All of it built for one job, to show off. 3 centuries before the emperors, a Sicilian king built the Syracusia, designed with help from Archimedes himself. A garden, a gym, a library, a temple, bathhouses, and stables for 20 horses. At sea, so huge no port could dock it. It sailed exactly once, as a gift to Egypt, and vanished. And then Caligula. He built 2 giant pleasure ships and floated them on a small lake purely because he could. Cedar hulls, jeweled prows, sails of purple silk, fittings of gold and silver, bathrooms lined with alabaster. No bill survives. But the materials alone, gold, jewels, purple silk, marble, would drain a city's treasury. This was a $300 million superyacht, built by hand, 2,000 years ago. They sat on the lakebed for nearly 2 millennia. We raised them in the 1930s. Then a fire destroyed them in the war. Gone again. Today, only a few dozen people on Earth can afford a yacht like that. In Rome, only an emperor could, and he parked 2 of them on a lake he could walk around. So that's the top. What about everyone else? Out on the road? They stayed in the Caupona, the ancient motel. And it was rough. Tiny rooms upstairs, watered wine, food you'd regret, and a name for theft, gambling, and prostitution. Roman law trusted innkeepers so little it treated them as criminals by default, but it was cheap. Bar tabs scratched into the walls of Pompeii show wine, bread, and a night with the serving girl going for just a few copper coins. A whole night out for less than the rich paid for a loaf of fancy bread. On the main highways, the state ran better rest stops, but mostly for officials. The elite never paid at all. They used hospitium, a web of family friendships guaranteeing a free bed in a friend's villa in any city for generations. They carried little tokens to prove the bond, so the poor paid pennies to sleep above a bar. The rich paid nothing and owned the mansion. That gap was the whole point. And just like us, they were tourists. Romans sailed all the way to Egypt to stare at monuments already 1,000 years old. At the singing statues of Memnon, they carved their names into the stone, more than 100 of them. Ancient I was here reviews. Even the Emperor Hadrian's people signed it. Villa, yacht, hotel, selfie. The luxury holiday is 2,000 years old. And Baiae, the playground of 7 emperors, quietly slipped under the sea. You can still dive it and swim through the ruins of the greatest party in the ancient world. Money bought the same holiday then as now. It just never stays above water forever. Subscribe for a new Stickman history every week.